All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Slowburn Show, episode number 19. Uh, Not really too much MMA news besides International Fight Week happening this week. But how you doing, Kobe? How have you been?
And I'm just trying to. I've been, I've been alright. Can't say I've been great. Can't say I've been bad. Been alright.
Life is lifing. Life be lifing, dude.
Life, life is life is very fast.
Yeah,
Summer's almost over, dude. I have to start going back teaching kind of soon.
yeah. I was just thinking about how my summer's been going, and I feel like I've spent half the summer just recovering my foot, and then now we're into the second half where I just started back at training. So that's been nice. I threw my first good pair of kicks last Thursday. That's why I got this mark on my forehead and these scratches on my neck.
Okay.
I don't know if it was a I don't know how my forehead got like this little mark right here, but it don't matter. It's the fight life. But getting into the MMA news, the really only news that I have is John Jones versus Stipe Miocic got announced that it's officially going to happen in November in New York at MSG. What are your thoughts on that?
I, you think that's like his last fight? Because I feel like he's got nothing left after that. It's just like
Which one?
John Jones.
Yeah,
He wins that fight. What else is there for him?
yeah. I mean, I agree. I really don't think there's much else for him to prove. But um, when it comes to legacy, not only that, but he also before he fought Cyril Gane, he signed an 8 fight contract.
Eight.
Eight, eight
That's a
fights.
lot of fights.
Yeah, and this would be the second one on that one. And but he's talked about retiring. Even I think even after the Cyril Gane, he was talking about retiring. I don't really like this matchup now, like Jones versus Stipe now. I wish this happened like 5 years ago. That would have been way better. Or I would have thought it would be a way better fight. But Stipe hasn't gotten in the octagon in over 900 days.
Damn, that's about 3 years.
Yes. And now he's about to come and fight the guy that just starts the heavyweight contender in under a minute. I just don't like it now. I wish that if this fight was 5 years ago, I would think differently of it. But I think John Jones is just gonna do
Do
John
what John
Jones.
Jones does.
Yes, exactly. But do you kind of agree with that, or?
I think so. I'm, he's the greatest, and it's just like, what much can you do against the greatest? What all can you do against the greatest? There's not much. So I just feel like, I mean, there's always a was it a puncher's chance? Is that what people say? There's always a puncher's chance that he could lose. I just feel like it's gonna be another one of them days. He's
Uh,
the up and comer. And I mean, Stipe's not an up and comer.
right. Did you see John and Izzy meet up and have that little
Yeah,
get
that was
together?
kind of cool.
It was really cool to see how they used to talk so much shit about each other, but once they see each other in person or up close, they were super cool. Um,
I always like that about fighters. Like you can talk the shit, during it, but like when you're about, not fighting, you're all good.
yeah. And Izzy even threw a fake eye poke at him, and I thought that was hilarious. Uh, but that matchup, if Izzy could gain some weight, I would like to see that. If Izzy could gain 50 pounds, I would like to see that fight. But getting into this weekend's card, International Fight Week, we got 2 championship fights: Robert Whitaker, Jalen Turner, Dan
Yeah,
Hooker.
Robbie Lawler's retirement fight.
Yeah, we can start with that one because that one's not on the main card, but I still want to talk about
It's a
how,
feature prelim.
yeah, him versus Nico Price is probably going to end up being, it could end up being fight of the night. That could end up turning into this, bar burner if Nico Price doesn't try to just, spam wrestle Robbie. But Robbie's career has been one of those. It's like when you see that guy step into the cage, you always knew bad intentions were coming. He's just a scary looking dude, first of all, and then his fighting style is scary too. He just throws bombs. And
My first ever fight of his was the Rory McDonald fight.
really,
I'd never seen him before, but then I saw that fight and like, damn.
yeah, that's one of the. And that fight just got inducted into the Hall of Fame this past week too. So what a war that was. That was probably one of the greatest fights ever when it comes to a back and forth war. Um, But who do you think is gonna win? I don't really know.
I don't know. I just feel like the last couple of retirement fights haven't gone for the people who are retiring. But, like I just want to see Robbie win.
Yeah.
Like it's Robbie.
I think Robbie's gonna be the fan favorite when they get into the
Oh,
cage. Like everybody's gonna be cheering for him and hoping that he gets the dub.
he's
29
like
and 16.
plus 110 underdog or something.
Uh, yeah. And if he gets this win, it'll be his 30th win. He's 29 and 16 for his professional record, which is how many fights is that?
Said 29 and 16.
Yeah. Quick math.
45.
Yeah. 45 fights, about to be his 46th. That's a lot of damage to be done. And you can see it. I mean, it's kind of like wore on him, too. He just looks like an older version of himself. But Nico Price, that dude is like tall, lanky, and crazy. He's wild. Just like Robbie is. But I think that could end up honestly being the fight of the night. But I think, like you said,
They're late these fights, aren't they? Aren't they in Australia? They're not in Australia, are they?
they're in Vegas.
Okay, I don't know why I thought it was in Australia.
No.
Like,
There's so many Australians, though. There's so many Australians, though, on the card.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was.
There's like 6 of them.
Hooker, Robert Whitaker, Volkanovski, and there's a bunch of like Mexican people. Isn't Yair from Mexico?
Yair.
Brandon.
Yep. Yeah, there's a bunch of
Antonio.
Mexican and Australians on the
and
card.
There's this undefeated person in the prelims. Her name's like, I don't even know what it is, but she's like 10-0. She's from Mexico, I think.
Whoa, who? Yasmin Yarguchi?
Yeah.
Yargui? Something.
I put some money on her.
She's a minus 380 against Denise Gomez. Yeah, there's a lot of great fights on the card. But getting in.
I think the main card's gonna. It looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, first fight is Bo Nickel versus that guy coming in on short notice. Bo is coming down as the biggest favorite in UFC history ever.
Oh yeah.
And
I saw one line. He was minus 3,800.
Last night,
currently
Thursday, I looked. He was minus 46.
He's minus 2,000 right now, and I think that just went down a little bit.
That's crazy. When on Thursday night when I was looking on DraftKings, he was minus 4,600. I mean, the line still hasn't closed. The line won't close until the fight starts. So I mean, he could not break that record, but I don't even know what the record is. But it sounds like a pretty big favorite. And Val Woodburn, me and my coach and my teammate were looking at his past fights, and he has not fought anybody credible on his undefeated run. A lot of them are plus 40-year-old dudes that he's beaten, and he's 29.
Yeah, I saw an interview with him. He said he was supposed to be on the Contender Series, and he was like, "They offered me it, so I signed it." I mean, you never know. He could always just throw something out there.
Yeah, I mean,
but I don't see.
Yeah, I don't see it happen. I think Bo's gonna do what he's been doing in his last fight: fake a double leg, hit a shot, hit a hand, like a left or a right hand up top, and then get back to the double leg and just spam wrestle to jiu-jitsu. So I guess we both agree that Bo's probably gonna win that one.
Yeah, but if you were just to throw some money on it, I'd go $5 on a first round knockout for Val. If you just want to just
that'd be crazy.
Crazy out there.
That and you can even maybe hedge it with like Bo getting a sub, because him by sub is like minus 225. It's not as big as all the other crap.
Yeah.
Jalen Turner versus Dan Hooker's the next fight. What are your thoughts on that one?
I don't know. I just don't know about Dan Hooker. It's like I watch him, and like you always hear like he's a good fighter. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter at all, but I just feel like every time I've watched him, he's lost. And I feel like if I watch him now, he's gonna lose.
That could be it. You could be cursing him, but he missed weight too. Jalen Turner missed weight.
Yeah, I saw that.
And if we're talking about stats here, a fighter that's already the favorite, and if he misses weight and the fight still happens, it's like it goes up like an extra 20% or something that person wins the fight.
I saw a picture of Dan Hooker too, and he looked, I don't know what he looked like. So weird with his hair. Yeah,
that blonde hair is something else.
Yeah, I don't want to put money on Dan.
Yeah.
The Hangman.
I'm kind of with you. Maybe he turns up. I don't know what Jalen Turner's pretty good too. I mean, he's 13-16 or 13-6 is what I meant. And if we're looking at his past few fights, he lost to Gamrot by split decision, and then he subbed Riddell, knocked out Jamie Malarkey, subbed Uros Medic, which is a very. If you don't know who Uros Medic is, you should look at that dude up. And that guy's actually really good. And he subbed Brock Weaver before all this. So, I can't remember exactly how the Mateus Gamrot fight went, but I'm pretty sure it was like a competitive fight, and that dude's pretty good. And Dan Hooker's been on this momentum slide down recently, and I feel like Jalen Turner's been going up, and he kind of stalemated off with a split decision. And I think it's just it's a moment for Jalen Turner to like get into the star power that the UFC has when it comes to lightweight fighters.
Was Dan Hooker Michael Chandler's first fight in the UFC?
Yep. And Abu
That was
Dhabi.
the first Dan Hooker fight I ever watched.
Yeah, and then
And you literally said to me, "Oh, he's not gonna get knocked out."
Yep. Yeah, that.
Wow.
Dude, I definitely thought Dan Hooker wasn't gonna let Michael Chandler come in here and do work, but I was completely wrong. And the reason why is because Dan Hooker's so good at knees, and I thought Michael Chandler was gonna come in and try and just get a dub, and I didn't think he was gonna be throwing crazy hands like that. And he clipped Hooker bad, and then Dustin knocked out Connor later literally the next fight. Literally the next fight. But so you got Jalen Turner?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna
I go
go.
about decision if it's like I don't know. I would go for decision. I just feel like that's the one fight that I don't see getting finished.
Yeah, I see what you mean. When it comes to Robert Whitaker versus, is it Dricus or
Dricus.
Dricus?
Duplessis.
He, yeah,
True African.
yeah, the true African.
The only African fighter.
What a guy. You know, Izzy manifested that Dricus, that he's gonna get a first round KO over Robert Whitaker. And if we know anything about Izzy manifesting shit, it goes down. So I don't know what to bet here. I feel like he's put some type of curse on this fight that could happen.
I don't know. I've seen the last couple of Duplessis fights. I saw it. I think he was on the card with. It was probably a Connor card with Sean O'Malley. That one. I think they were on that card. And I don't know. Anyways, I've like seen him fight. I hate how he fights.
He seems to have like a.
I
don't want to say. I know. I don't want to say he has a cardio issue, but it seems like he starts to melt pretty quickly. But also the guys he's been fighting, they melt even quicker. I just think if you. Yeah. I think if you get tired with Robert Whitaker, it's going to be a really bad night for you. You know what I mean? And Robert all week has been saying he's not underestimating him at all. He understands what it's like to be an underdog and have everybody rooting against you and what kind of motivation that can give a person. But I just don't think he's going to be able to get it done against the 1A champ. If Israel Adesanya wasn't born, Robert Whitaker would probably be the champion of the world right now.
I don't know who I want to choose for this one. Because it's like, you want to go with Robert just because it's Robert. But then it's like, could Dricus do this? I think the safe bet is going with Robert. It's Robert Whitaker. But it's like, you just believe in the underdog story.
The manifestation.
The puncher's chance. He's always got one. Like, he could do something crazy in the first round. I say if this fight doesn't go the whole way, I feel like it's gonna be a knockout or it's going to be a finish either way.
I think we'll find out, like, super quickly how the fight's going to go. Like, I think if we see Dricus, as soon as they touch gloves, or if they don't touch gloves at all, if he engaged the distance and doesn't stay at that kicking range, I think he has a way better chance at winning. If he just shows Robert Whitaker no respect and just goes after him and tries to knock him out early. If he immediately touches gloves and backs up, I'm going to think something different. You know what I mean? But that's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to touch gloves, and he's going to try and stay at this kicking range and strike with Robert Whitaker. And if he tries to go for a takedown, it'll be too far away. I And I think Whitaker just will put on a performance like he should. Now to the first championship fight of the night, Brandon Moreno versus Alexandre Pantoja.
Hmm.
What do you think?
I don't know. I like Brandon Moreno, but there's something in me that just like I just don't see him winning this fight. Isn't he? He's 0-2 against Pantoja, right? I don't know. I like Brandon, but I don't. I feel like he's gonna like get caught in a sub.
I don't like the line on this one, and that's why I would play the underdog on it. It was the only reason why.
Yeah, isn't he? He's like a plus 150, right?
Yeah,
Pantoja.
yeah. I don't think the line should be that. If anything, it should be like minus 110, minus 110, or minus 110 plus 110. And when it comes to like rivalries in combat sports, the most dangerous guy you got to worry about, or the person that's most likely to beat you, is the person you've beat more than once. When you go against that person for another time, they've felt what you felt like. They understand what kind of moves you kind of like to do. I mean, people are always learning in combat sports, but there's certain little antics that fighters, wrestlers, jiu-jitsu, they all do. And the person that you're most likely to lose against is somebody that you've beaten twice or three times, in my opinion. Maybe that's not statistically right, but that's who I would be most afraid of, is somebody that I've beaten before, because it gives you a false level of confidence of what it could happen the next time you'll go against each other. But with that being said, I don't like the line. Like, if the line was closer, I would be betting Brandon Moreno. But with Pantoja being such an underdog, it's hard for me not to want to play that. And lately, Pantoja has looked like a straight gangster in his fights. Like, he just straight up goes after dudes with no care. He's swinging punches. And the way he can get in on a leg when he shoots, he is so fast. Like, when he fought Brandon Royval, which is one of my favorite flyweight fighters, when Pantoja decided to shoot on him, Brandon Royval was, I wouldn't even want to say he was slow. He just couldn't defend the takedown. Like, Pantoja was deep in on a, like, grabbed both his legs, locked his hands so quick. I was like, I don't know who would have been able to stop that. The guy's fast, and he doesn't care. And I feel like that's like a big advantage when it comes to MMA.
Yeah, I just feel like of course Brandon's gotten better, but like so has Pantoja. Like I don't know. I really do feel like it's a toss up. It's like I don't know.
Exactly, it's a hard
If
one.
it goes to a decision, I'd probably go Brandon.
I agree.
But if I'm looking for a finish, it'll probably be. I'll go with a sub.
And what's funny,
I'm not gonna go like a.
I think Pantoja subbed him the first, but on his record, Brandon Moreno's never been finished. But he got finished by Pantoja in the Ultimate Fighter House. He got tapped out. I think that's what could happen again. If they get into scrambling situation, he's just super fast, but so was Davison. Davison was super fast on the ground as well. It's a hard fight to pick. That's a great fight for tonight.
And I'm looking now, and Brandon's he's a minus 220, and then Pantoja is a plus 160. Like it's getting further and further away from each other.
Yeah, so maybe we need to wait.
I think it'll be a good fight
until like 7 o'clock tonight, and then bet it. Maybe the line keeps getting more and more.
I feel like you'll figure out who has the better game plan, because it's like they fought each other twice now. Like what is it, the third fight?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're gonna have so much film or so much knowledge of each other. It's like who's smarter? Who's the smarter fighter? Who's the better fighter? I mean that's how all fights go, but who's gonna be the better fighter and has the better game plan?
And see, when it comes to that, I've seen Brandon Moreno, like, I've seen him follow game plans to very good levels before, like when he fought Kai Kara-France and when he fought Davison Figueiredo the first time. It looked like a lot of that was game planned, and like a lot of it was planned on what he wanted to do with certain motions. And you saying that makes me want to go back to Moreno. This fight's hard to pick. I don't really know who to, but
all these fights are kind of hard to pick.
Yeah, but
nickel.
but if I'm a bettor, I'm gonna pick the underdog on this one because.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what I'm gonna pick because of the line. That's literally the only reason why. Um, moving on to the main event. Did you pick Pantoja or you got Moreno?
I went Pantoja.
All right, yeah, we both got Pantoja. It seemed like we've agreed on every fight so far. Get into the main event. I'll say my take first. I think Yair Rodriguez has a chance tonight. I think he definitely can pull something out. And the reason why is because I've seen Volkanovski be subjected to head kicks before. Not that they've ever put him out or even like wobbled him severely, but he tends to like let that foot graze right off his head. And that's what I'm kind of scared of going into this fight is seeing Yair not only having a 5-inch height advantage, and I know Volk has fought Max Holloway, which is basically the same thing, if not the same thing. Yair is more unpredictable, and I think in 25 minutes of fighting, that can be really dangerous. If you're stuck in there with somebody that you can't get a read on for 25 minutes and you're kind of just fighting them. Now, I think it plays into Volk's favor the further it goes into the fight. When it goes into rounds 3, 4, and 5, I think we'll see Volk just honestly manhandle him all around the cage. But in rounds 1 and 2, as long as Jair isn't super patient, I think he has a chance. Do I think that happens? No. I think Volkanovski is still going to get the job done tonight.
I feel like if Yair's gonna win, it's gonna be something. He's gonna do like some creative striking. Like, I don't think it's gonna be.
I think it will be like a Usman type with Leon knockout.
Yeah, like he's gonna have to do some spinning shit. But I would go like a 4th round, like TKO or something from Volkanovski. I'm gonna go with Volk just because it's Volk. And then he's a good fighter, and it's just like I don't know. I haven't watched too much of Yair. I watched his I think it was the Josh Emmett fight. I think that was the last fight I've seen, or the only fight I've seen of his. And it looked clinical out there.
Yeah, I think Josh Emmett. The only thing I have on that is like I thought Josh Emmett was gonna go out there and win that fight, but I thought that was gonna be the last win of his career. I thought because I've seen him, I feel like he's on his downfall now, Josh Emmett, and especially after watching the Ilya Topuria fight.
Oh yeah.
I can just say, I don't think Josh Emmett ever realizes a UFC championship now. Now that's me kind of like hating a little bit, but it's also like kind of factual. I don't really know exactly how old he is, but just watching him fight as late, he just seems like this guy who's got a gas tank, but doesn't really know how to get his punches to the target consistently. And Yair showed that, I think, in their fight when he fought for the interim title. And if this would have been Volkanovski versus Josh Emmett, I would have been picking Volkanovski all day.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
With it being Yair, I think Yair has a chance. If you're gonna bet him by finish. Don't bet by decision. And let's see what that line is while you tell me any other takes you have on this fight.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be a finish. But if it's gonna be a decision, it'll be Volk for sure. But I feel like it's going to be a finish either way. I mean, if that's Volkanovski, like I saw something the ground and pound, like he's gonna flip him and get on him.
His top game on the ground is the way he beat up Brian Ortega, the way he beat up Islam in the 5th round on top. That dude's a motherfucker.
And he didn't just get obliterated. I don't know. If you look at Islam and it's like his wrestling, he didn't just obliterate Volk on the ground, like
right.
Wrestle fuck him.
Right.
So I mean, and then I watched the Brian Ortega fight, I watched that one where he was caught in that in the guillotine, those 2 guillotines, like.
Yeah, I have a story about that one actually. Before I say this,
My first Volk fight too.
When Brian Ortega fought Volkanovski, I was actually at a teammate fight of mine. I don't even know where the hell we were, but I asked all of them if they wanted to go out and watch fights, and everybody else wanted to go home. So I went.
Oh yeah, you told this story.
yeah, but I want to tell it again. When I went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I was sitting there by myself, And I met this one dude at the bar, and we were talking, having a good old time. And I was telling him how I'm a big fan of Brian Ortega. I think he's gonna get it done. And I had actually had like $20 on Ortega to get a sub in round 3, and would have pulled away like 300 or something. And when they get into round 3, Brian Ortega knocks him down with that punch and then latches onto a guillotine. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I think he's about to get it done. But I'm like stuck. I have my Jack and Coke in my hand, and I'm just like clenching my other fist, and I'm just hoping. And then he gets out of it, and I'm like, ah, dang. So I go back to talking. And then I'm go back to talking to this dude, and then Brian Ortega puts him in the triangle. And I'm sitting here like, that's like T-City's move. That's why he's called T-City, Brian T-City Ortega, is because of his triangle. And when he put him in it, I didn't even notice. I guess I was maybe a little intoxicated. I had dropped my whole glass in my drink, and it broke all over the bar, and it went all over me and the dude I was talking to. And that dude didn't talk to me for the rest of the night, and he ended up getting up and leaving. I felt so bad, but that dude, watching Brian Ortega almost put Volkanovski out and win the title, that was something else. But then to see Volk be able to fight out of those positions and then end up on top and just start raining down shots, that dude's a motherfucker. Yair Rodriguez is a plus 550 by finish. If you want to bet Volkanovski, that's what I want to do. I want to bet Volkanovski, but I'm going to hedge with Yair by knockout just in case. You got any more thoughts on this card?
I hope it's not just a disappointing one. Boring decisions. I need to see some finishes. I don't give a fuck if they're subs,
I think Bo.
stoppages, whatever it is.
I think Bo's fight ends in a finish. I think Jalen Turner finishes Dan Hooker. I
I think
think.
that's the only one that could go to a decision.
Yeah.
I feel like those two
Yeah.
are the ones that like.
I think
Higher.
Robert Whitaker finishes Drakus. I think you're right on Brandon Moreno and Pantoja going to decision. But I could see Pantoja like pulling out a finish early, potentially.
But,
And
I mean, then you've seen Brandon Moreno like with how he'll throw like a punch and it'll hit liver kick or the eye. Like, I don't know. He could always get a lucky punch.
yeah, I'm gonna be upset if I bet Pantoja and Brandon Moreno wins, honestly, just because that's literally the only reason I think that I want to go with Pantoja is because of the line. It makes me not want to bet the favorite. And then Yair Rodriguez, I think it's possible he could finish Volkanovski, and vice versa. I think that's possible too. Great card. Summer's almost like
Fight week
over halfway over.
or international fight week.
Yeah, I have a couple teammates fighting September 1st. I'm going to be trying to get them on here and talk to them and get them to try and promote themselves for their fight coming up. I know Cameron Tompkins is fighting. I know Xavier Cox is fighting. I know Anne-Marie Sharp is fighting. And I think Hunter Duff is fighting too. So I'm trying to get... Yes, I'm trying to get all 4 of them. Maybe not on at the same time, but at least get them all on here by the time their fight goes September 1st.
Nobody ever fights on your cards.
Well, Xavier was supposed to fight with me.
Yeah, he was supposed to.
And then when I would fight Jeer, or when I was supposed to fight Jeer, I would have had 2 teammates fighting with me then.
I forgot about that one. Jack.
Yeah. I would have...
Hold on. The video you posted with the stanky leg. Is there a story why you chose the stanky leg? Because I saw.
The whole reason why Corey said that is because the night before I posted that video, which was Thursday night, we were sparring, and after sparring, we were all talking, and I was talking about how Tristan made a highlight reel that made it look like I got my ass beat, and I didn't like it. So I told Corey I'm going to be extra petty with mine, and I told him like the song choice I was going to use and how I was going to edit it to him falling over and over again. So, yeah, I just decided to be extra petty with it, but oh well.
I saw Jamie comment on it.
Yeah. And honestly, now that I think about it, I've only really made like highlight reels after I've watched my opponents make a highlight reel, and that just drives me to make my own. I was like, all right, You think your highlight reel is cool? I'm gonna make mine. It's gonna be way cooler. But I don't really got nothing else to say besides hope everybody's having a great summer, because I am. Just got this foot back to working, so we're back training. But I appreciate everybody that's been joining these. So I'll see y'all next time. Peace.